I'm Josh, lead front-end developer here at Claris. I'm going to be showing you some recent improvements we've made to the handheld configuration screen.
Okay, so this is the handheld device configuration screen. So at Claris, we have a handheld device app, which runs on the scanner or handheld devices used by your warehouse floor staff. So this screen can be used to configure the app so it appears however you like for those users. The app can be used to do various processes within the warehouse. So you could have a flow for picking, you could have a flow for dispatch, loading, anything really that your floor staff would need to do, you can configure a flow in the handheld app to do that. And this screen is how you do that. So we've recently made some improvements to this screen to make it easier for you to actually configure that handheld app for your users. So the first thing I want to show you here is how to add a new process into an existing flow. So we've got a picking flow. So to get to that picking flow, all we need to do is click through picking, and then we'll go into one of our picking flows. We'll go through the screens in that. So on the left here, you've got the screens in that flow. So you can see we're asking the user to select an account, which is going to be picked for, and then we're actually going to take them into the task. And we'll do a full pick task. And here's the screen they would actually see when they're starting to pick that full pick. So they would scan the pallet, they would scan the location. And at this point, after scanning the location, what we're going to do is drop in what we call a process, which are a library of pre-built functionality, which are commonly required in a warehouse, which you can drop into any of your flows or implementations to instantly give you that functionality easily and quickly. So here we've got the full pick task flow, and we're on the screen where the user would be asked to scan a pallet, scan the pallet that they're picking from. What we can do here is we can hover over the component that we want to add it below. We can type in image capture, and it will give us the processes that are returned from that search. And we can now see we've got a button dropped straight into that screen to let the user capture an image as part of their full pick. So it might be that the pallet is damaged or any other reason they want to take a picture during that pick process. So as you can see, all we've had to do is a couple of clicks, and we've now got a button dropped in there. If the user then clicks that capture image button, they're taken straight to the screen, which lets them actually upload a photo from their device, which could be a photo they've taken previously, or it could be a photo that they take at the point of clicking that button. That image would then be attached to that task, and it can be searched or audited later on. So image capture is just one of the many processes we have available in the library. It's something we're always adding new commonly used processes to make your life easier when you're setting up these flows for your users. So now we're looking at the process library. We can see we've got various processes in here which can be easily dropped in to your handheld implementation to instantly give you that functionality. You can see we've got descriptions under each processes, which tells you what that process is used for. And yeah, it's as simple as opening that process library, clicking a button, and you've got the functionality. Once saved, your users will instantly be able to use that process to make their workflow more efficient. And then for anyone wanting to get a bit more granular, a bit more technical, you can actually add individual components to an existing screen or flow to give you that finer control over the floor staff's experience. So as you can see, we've got the components categorized on the left here. So for example, if you wanted to display a product barcode to a user after they'd scanned the product, you can click barcode on the left here, and then you see the component titled display product barcode. You can just click that button, it will drop it into the screen you're currently in, and there you go. The user would then see that component when they next do their flow. So as you can see, this is really powerful. It gives you the ability to fully customize your handheld app to your business's needs, to your floor staff's needs. So for anyone who may have used this screen before, you'll notice there are quite a few changes. We've recently made some big improvements to this screen to make it easier for you to customize your flows. As you can see, the main difference you'll see immediately when you visit this screen is we've got this device preview in the middle of the screen there. And we've made this change so you can more accurately see how the handheld app or how the changes you've made to the handheld app would actually appear to your users on the floor. So we've made it easier to edit and configure components. All you have to do is hover over a component and click the pencil icon, and you'll be given the ability to configure that component however you like. So you can change the heading text for a screen, for example. We've also made it easier to arrange the screens on your flow however you like. You can now hover over a screen, click the down arrow, and it will move down the list, and you can do that as many times as you like and arrange the screens however you like. It just makes it nice, quick and easy to customize the flow to your liking. So some of our users have multiple Handheld implementations. They might have multiple warehouses and they want one warehouse to use a certain implementation. So we've added some functionality to make managing that easier. We've added this duplicate flow button, and you can now copy a flow from one implementation to the other. So it might be that you've added some functionality for one warehouse and then you realize, oh yeah, I'd like to add that for the other warehouse as well. No more manual work to add that flow to the other warehouse. You just simply select which implementation you want to send it to, and click save. And the other implementation and the other warehouse will then have that functionality as well. So once you've made the changes to your Handheld app, we've now added the functionality to be able to preview it. So you can see we've got this button in the top right here called Preview. You click that and it'll give you a more focused view of the Handheld app, and you can click through that app just as your users would do on the warehouse floor, and you can look at your changes to make sure they look right. So you can click through here and you can see it looks exactly the same as it would on a handheld device. So without the ability to edit or anything like that, it's just purely the visual preview of the Handheld app that the user would see. Another upgrade we've made to this screen is made it much easier to configure your flow. On the left here, you can see we've got a new flow configuration menu. And here we've got all the buttons and menus you need to configure that flow to your desire. So we've got flow inputs, flow outputs, and duplicate flow, which I just showed you. And then if you want to add a completely new flow from scratch, you can do that by clicking Add New Flow. And another thing we've done is make it much easier to manage your flows at a high level. So we've got this flows list down here that you can open. And here is just a list of every flow in your current implementation. It's searchable, so you can search for a particular flow. And you can also, if you like, duplicate your flows or remove any flows which you don't need anymore from this list as well. So it makes it really easy to, at a high level, big picture view, see your flows, manage them, and keep things nice and clean.
Great, so those are the improvements we've made to the Handheld configuration screen. If you're interested in seeing more of Clarab's, please do get in touch.